Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. We are going to get rolling because our special guest is here and ready to chat. So before I bring him on, let me give you a quick bio on Michael Walsh. He's an Eisner Award-winning Canadian comic book creator based out of Hamilton, Ontario. In 2013, Michael co-created the Image comic book series Comeback, soon to be a major motion picture. After this, Michael launched a follow-up to the hit TV series The X-Files for IDW. And since then, he's worked primarily with Marvel Comics on properties such as Star Wars, Spider-Man, The Avengers, and The X-Men, as well as adapting the Star Wars film The Last Jedi. In 2019, Michael was the artist and colorist of the hit Dark Horse DC crossover, Black Hammer Justice League. And tonight, we're going to find out all about his new release this week called The Silver Coin. Let's give Michael Walsh a big alter ego welcome. Hello, Michael.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here tonight. I'm sure it's been a crazy, busy day. We have the habit of trying to get creators on New Comic Book Day when they have a new book out. And I realize you've probably been on social media all day and just soaking up the accolades, I suppose, for the Silver Coin. It's
been an overwhelming day and an amazing day. The outpouring of support has been very heartwarming for me, and it makes the months and months and months of working my butt off on this feel worth it. Yeah, and I even got out to the comic store, the local comic store, and saw how they were doing and everything.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know, presumably, are you in Canada right now?
I am, yeah. So I'm in Hamilton, Ontario. My LCS is Big B.
Okay.
Really good people, great store.
And you're prohibited from crossing the border, is that correct?
I am right now. Yes, I'm prohibited right now. It's pretty messy here. The vaccine rollout has not gone smoothly, but hoping that turns around soon.
That's what I've heard. I've got some friends that own shops up there. Jen Haynes is one of them from the Dragon.
Jen's amazing. Yeah, I love that store.
And I'm so happy that she is the new president of Comics Pro. That's an organization I've been a part of for many years. And man, she's just so full of energy and ideas. Must be the Canadian.
She's drinking lots of Tim Hortons, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Silver Coin is out today, and I don't want to steal your thunder, so I will let you first off maybe tell us a little bit about how it came about, because this is a little bit of a different twist. You as the artist doing the art on all 5 issues, but having a different writer come in to tell a different story in this anthology series. How did the Silver Coin come together?
Well, I was wrapping up on Black Hammer Justice League with Jeff Lemire, and I had it in my head that I really wanted to get back into creator-owned. It had been 8 or 9 years almost since I'd worked on a creator-owned book, and I was having trouble kind of deciding what to do. I had a few pitches of my own floating out there because I've been doing a lot of writing, and then I had been talking with Jeff a bunch, and we wanted to work together again on something small, but his schedule was pretty tight. My schedule was getting opened up, and I had a lot of opportunity to do some interesting things. So I kind of thought maybe I could do something where I work with a bunch of different writers. We do an anthology style book, and I really wanted to do more in the horror genre. So I kind of soft pitched it to Jeff. He said yes, and that gave me the confidence to go ask a bunch of other writers. And I had just worked with Chip on Spectacular Spider-Man. I worked with Kelly on Hawkeye, and then Ed's been one of my best friends in comics since the very beginning of my career because we did come back together, and for both of us, it was our first book. So it was kind of easy to pick who I wanted to work with on this. And they all said yes, and I said, well, here's the deal. There's a silver coin, and whenever someone finds it or comes into possession of it, bad things happen. They can be supernatural. They don't have to be. And go crazy. So the first script I got was from Chip and then Kelly. And once Chip and Kelly's script came in, I kind of sent the scripts around and I said, hey guys, this is a shared world. Feel welcome to have characters cross over, have the stories connect if you want, but I just want to make sure that they stand alone as their own self-contained tale. So those were kind of the only prompts that we went with. And as we continued to work on the project, the world became more connected. The mythology within the world became deeper. And I think people are going to be pretty excited with the direction that things go.
Yeah, I mean, if the first issue's any indication, it was my pick of the week. Not that I'm, all that, but You know, when the shop owner picks a comic, people tend to pay attention. But
of course, thank you. That helps us a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And it helps to have Chip Zdarsky launch the series, because I think Chip is riding this wave, you know, thanks to Daredevil and Stillwater and the stuff that he has going on right now. So to launch with his story, I think was great. And you can tell me if I'm asking too much, but you know, this story is set in the late 1970s, and if I'm not mistaken, the next story is set in the 90s. Is this going to be kind of a chronological thing with each issue, or are we bouncing around?
We're going to be bouncing around, and I think the solicitation for number 3 is already out, I believe, for Ed Brisson's issue, and his issue takes place in the 80s. So we're going to go forward a bit, and then back, and then forward more, and then back more, without spoiling too much. But the solicits kind of give you hints of where the issues are going to take place.
Well, I think that's the beauty of this book too, is that it is a horror anthology, but it's built around, you know, a tangible object that is making its way into different people's lives. So with this first issue, why don't you tell our customers and our fans here, or viewers, what the pitch is on issue number 1.
The first issue follows a rock band in the late 70s. It's kind of the end of garage rock and the beginning of the disco phase in popular music. So they're having some trouble making headway, getting people out to their shows. And when the lead guitarist of the band finds the silver coin, he kind of ends up in a situation where he has to be careful what he wished for.
That's short and sweet. That's fantastic. Without getting too into it, I will just tell our viewers that it is fantastic. You all know that Chip Zdarsky can write pretty much anything, and you pair that with Michael's amazing artwork on here, and you can feel, at least I did, I could feel the angst of the lead character, just feeling stuck. And I think it's going to work really well in shops that have musicians as customers. Clearly, we just happen to be building a recording studio behind our shop, so I think that we'll be able to get this into people's hands that will really it'll really connect with. But even if you're not into music, I think that you'll feel the emotion that's tied up in all the characters in this first issue.
Yeah, I really actually connected with the setting of this one because I grew up playing music and I was in some touring bands and stuff. So I kind of know what it feels like to play to a dead room. And it's not a great feeling, and it can be incredibly frustrating. So I hope that I was able to convey that appropriately.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. So next issue, we've got Kelly Thompson doing the story, right?
Yeah. Next issue is super fun, if I can say a bit about it quickly.
Sure, please.
Yeah, I think one of the fun things about this book is that there's so many different subgenres within horror that each issue does feel distinct in terms of its subgenre. And where the first issue has a bit of a Twilight Zone, Crypt Keeper type feel, Tales from the Crypt, the second issue has a distinct 90s slasher feel. So something like Scream or even Friday the 13th, you know, it feels like those, and it was a lot of fun to draw.
And then you've got Ed coming up. Is it issue 3?
Issue 3 is Ed Brisson, yeah. And his is got a bit of a crime noir feel to it, which I think is appropriate when you look at Ed's body of work and his taste for the pulpy noir stuff. And
Jeff Lemire is coming on to write one, right?
Jeff's is issue 4, and Jeff's is not what you'd expect. I don't want to say too much because I think it's going to really knock some people's socks off, but it's cyberpunk horror.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's got a bit of a techno body horror aspects to it that is really interesting.
And is it 4 or 5 issues?
It's 5. And then the 5th issue I'm writing myself. And then
Awesome.
That issue jumps way back in time, and it covers some kind of witchy, supernatural, pagan, late 17 or early 1700s era.
That's awesome.
Stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the spoilers to a minimum because there's so much going on with the book. But
no, I think you've done a great job of whetting everyone's appetite. And as you said, it's hitting so many different genres, all within that kind of Twilight Zone-esque, anything can happen. But I've already, fortunately, being a retailer, we get these advance copies sometimes to help with our ordering. So I've already read issue 2 and issue 3, and I can confidently tell everyone that each issue is incredibly solid. And I can't wait to see what Jeff does with 4 and how you wrap things up with 5. So again, Silver Coin, fully recommended by the team over here at Alter Ego Comics. But let's talk about other stuff. What else do you have cooking besides the Silver Coin right now?
Well, right now I am Silver Coin's been taking up most of my time for the last, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 months now. But I was slowly putting together a web comic called The Sleep Stories, which you can find at thesleepstories.com. And I've had nightmares since I was a little kid. I think it's kind of the curse of creativity. And I decided to start journaling them, and they got really popular online. So I hosted them on a dedicated website. So it's just thesleepstories.com. And I've did a Kickstarter for volume 1 a few months ago. And then when I have enough material for another volume, I'll probably do another one of those. And then I'm also working on an all ages fantasy graphic novel. I can't really talk much about it because it's not announced yet, but I'm chipping away at that while I'm working on Silver Coin. And it's got a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely different genre, but it's for fans of people, for fans of like The Neverending Story, for fans of Spirited Away, that kind of childlike escapist awe and fantasy. So it's going to be a really fun book that should be announced probably in the summer. And then some other stuff I can't really talk about. I wish I could, but yeah, I'm a busy bee right now.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I know, the creative industry has been hit so hard with because of the pandemic, especially, not only writers and artists, but musicians, and not being able to have conventions. And I'm sure San Diego Comic-Con has always been, an opportunity for you to network and kind of set up some deals and also see friends you only see once or twice a year. But, hopefully things get sorted out here in the U.S., and especially up in Canada. It sounds like, as you said, there have been some bumps in the road as far as the rollout of the vaccine. But we're seeing promising signs here in Ohio anyway. I know on the coast things might be a little bit different, but we're looking good. I get my second jab on Friday, so I'm looking forward to it.
Congratulations.
Fully vaccinated. Thank you. So is there anything about Comeback that you want to talk about, or what's going on with that?
Not much I can talk about right now, but the film is still in development. They announced it was Nacho Vigalondo writing and directing. You might know him from Time Crimes, and he did the kaiju monster movie with Anne Hathaway called Colossal. So we're really excited. Read the script. It's great. It's going to be super fun. Hoping that can get going soon. Everything's kind of up in the air with COVID, right? It's thrown a wrench in almost everything. But not much else to talk about with Comeback. Doing some covers here and there, and still focusing on making sure that the release of Silver Coin goes really well, and that each issue gets the kind of love and dedication that we're getting from the first issue. But yeah, I would love to do more of that as well in the future.
Cool. Well, I know taking the time to talk with a little comic shop in Ohio that you've never heard from before helps things go a long way. We've definitely seen that when we get a creator on with us, our numbers triple or quadruple on a book. So I appreciate it. I know our customers appreciate you spending some time with us as well. If people want to keep up with you on social media, what's the best platform to follow you on?
Twitter and Instagram, and both of my handles are at Mr. MISTER _ Walsh. Michael Walsh is the most common name ever, I feel like, and I could not get it on email or social media. So that's what I settled with many years ago, and that's what I'm sticking with, I guess. But yeah, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for supporting, and thanks for having me. You guys are what makes it possible for me to even have a career. So any kind of support is so appreciated from creators, whether they want to say it or not, but I'm saying it for everybody right now.
Well, I appreciate that so much. And everyone has been so kind. We've asked lots of different people, and I threw a Hail Mary a couple of weeks ago to Scott Snyder and got him to show up and hang out with us for a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
We've got some question actually just popped up before we were going to sign off. Sarah wants to know if you come up with the characters first and then the storyline. I guess this would be something that you're writing yourself.
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation, on the book that I'm doing. With with the all ages graphic novel that I'm working on right now, I knew the characters, who they were going to be before I had any of the big plot beats down. Like, I knew I wanted to do an escapist fantasy where they go into another world and they go on this adventure. But first and foremost, I had the idea of these three siblings that are essentially amalgams of me and my sisters. It's a boy and two girls. And I knew I wanted to do a story about these three kids based on us that escape into another world. And so I had those characters in my head first. With something like the Silver Coin, it's pretty plot driven. So I think that for my issue, I knew what I wanted the plot to be. I knew what I needed to happen within that story, and then the characters came up. And then when I write, I'm very focused on the characters. So essentially, I think of the beginning and the end of a story and what needs to happen, and then from there, the character is the most important part.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Sarah, for the question. Thank you, Michael, for the answer. And I'm really looking forward to the all ages book down the road. My wife, who's off camera here, is a middle school teacher. So we definitely kind of push the all ages stuff here. And we've got several viewers on tonight, I know, that are big into that as well. The kids are the future of our industry. We got to, get them into the stuff that where we were reading maybe superhero comics when we were 10 and 11 and 12. These folks are reading Dogman and Raina Telgemeier and all kinds of all ages material that will eventually, hopefully, get them to become regular comic book readers in the future.
Yeah, I totally agree. I grew up reading Bone, and that's kind of why I did this, is because that was one of the books that I just adored as a kid, and it kept me reading. And I mean, I'm doing this for myself, for my nieces and nephews, and potentially my own children someday, and they are the future of the industry, and I think that stuff needs to be made with love for that demographic.
All kinds of awesome stuff to look forward to, but right now we've got the Silver Coin and the Silver Cat crawling around in the background. Oh. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's trying to escape right now. This is Poe. He's quite a rascal. He's a rescue, and he's a scrappy guy.
I love it when this happens. We've had this happen a couple of times before, where a pet just happens to be moving around in the background. But it's been a year since we've been doing all this virtual stuff. I'm sure crazier stuff has happened, but it's always entertaining to see writers and artists in their natural habitat along with their animals. So,
yeah, this room is currently filled with boxes from the Kickstarter and pet toys for my dog and my cat. So
there you go.
It's a mess.
Well, Michael, congratulations on the launch of the Silver Coin. I hope it continues to go well through the entire series. We'll be looking forward to all of your work coming down the road. And I appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And again, thanks for all the support.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.